Wire.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Sport is so important. I really welcome the report by the Health, Social Care and Sport Committee. I think we will know instinctively how important it is for our physical and mental health, for social and cultural connectivity, but there's also extensive evidence of just that, of the benefits of regular exercise on physical and mental health and well-being. We all need a tribe or a team to be part of, and perhaps particularly in our younger years, sport can provide that shared purpose and belonging that's so important, a good gang to join, if you like. And not just in youth. As adults, it's really important to have opportunities for social connection. Sport provides that. We should all be concerned that there is a persistent gap between boys and girls in rates of participation in sport and physical activity, beginning at the age of puberty and persisting up to women in their 40s. This is a substantial part of a woman's life, and we have to understand the barriers and dismantle them. The committee's report found that teenage girls faced barriers around puberty, and there has been some welcome progress to date in implementing the Scottish Government's Women's Health Plan, which has included learning about menstrual health as part of the Scottish curriculum. I share the committee's hopes this will be beneficial in terms of normalising discussions about menstrual health, improving awareness and understanding about the impact menstruation can have on girls' participation in sport and physical activity, and removing stigma around managing periods, particularly as this relates to girls' participation in PE classes. I support committee calls on the Scottish Government to set out how it will evaluate the impact of improved learning about menstrual health as part of the school curriculum in addressing the significant decline in participation of girls in sport and physical activity that's connected with puberty. We are debating this matter during the 16 days of activism, so many of our minds will be on wider matters of inequality for women and girls. I think it's important to acknowledge how all these issues connect and overlap. The committee highlighted negative body image and a lack of self-confidence as a barrier to participation. Recognising many may be deterred from participating in sport and physical activity because they lack self-confidence or experience negative body image. Our girls from a very young age are bombarded with airbrushed, sexualised images of unattainable aesthetics and content which can give the entirely wrong message about who and what their bodies are for. Participation in sport can be a really healthy counter to that and help individuals love their bodies for what they can do and not for how they look to others. And surrounded by teammates of all different shapes and sizes reinforces that, as do many of the wonderful sportswomen and coaches that we have in this country. I share the committee's concern, but wasn't really surprised to hear extensive evidence that negative attitudes of boys continue to create major barrier to girls' participation in sport and physical activity, particularly during adolescence. The committee highlighted and commended the Don't Be That Guy campaign to tackle sexual harassment run by Police Scotland and the positive impact that this had in addressing negative attitudes by boys, which in turn helped to foster an environment of mutual respect between boys and girls when participating in sport and physical activity. There are some messages in there that might be helpful for male colleagues who wish to address behaviour that they witness. The committee is right to call on the Scottish Government to consider what more it could do to learn lessons for future policy development from the implementation of Don't Be That Guy, and consider how perhaps the wider rollout of this campaign and other education programmes across school could help tackle misogynistic attitudes and behaviours. Presiding Officer, I see there was a mixed response to the topic of single-sex sports and would agree with the committee that there's no one-size-fits-all for this. However, that said, I absolutely recognise the benefit of female-only activities and competition, and there must be a retention and protection of female-only space and sport for girls and women who need it. To close on a success story, I think Active Schools programme is one that we can look to as just that. It's successfully engaging girls in sport and physical activity and offering a range of fun activities in schools across the country. In my area, in North Ayrshire, I'm always particularly impressed by the range of activities going on and the young leaders who are doing sterling work. In the year 2022 to 23, Girls and young women made over 2 million visits to active schools sport and physical activity sessions, and females made up to 46% of participants in the Active Schools programme, so there's definitely learning for us in that. I was interested to read that the highest participation activities among female participants were netball, football, multisport, dance and movement, and basketball. Active schools teams have worked really hard to engage women and girls and young women, people with additional support needs and young people from areas of socio-economic disadvantage. I think that in doing the review of that, we can learn what is working well and where we need to make that investment. I thank everybody who contributed to the report, particularly the legion of volunteers in this country who run the clubs and activities which support women and girls' participation in sport. Presiding Officer.
Thank you very much.